Hey everybody, Mike Bruce with Life Starts with Food Health. Life Starts with Food Health Coaching. I can say it sometimes. I'm here with my buddy Chad Phillis. Chad and I met each other through his dad, actually, and through a business group that we're in. If you guys aren't in a business group, you don't even have to have a business. But if you're not in a business group, some kind of networking group, it's a terrific thing to be in. And what ours is a referral group. The whole point of it, yeah, it's to make friends, but it's to refer business to each other, which is a really cool concept. So Chad and I met through there. We quickly found out that we both have a love for all things health, biohacking, experimentation, all kind of stuff. I have a little kind of a funny voice today because of some experimenting, and it was unexpected. It's not like I go out to do this stuff, but anyways, Chad, you are kind of a serial entrepreneur, which is pretty cool to have a guy your age be that way. Everything from online health coaching courses to well, you've worked in insurance. Do you still work in insurance?
Yep, I do.
And your most recent
management, I do.
Yeah,
you name it.
Yeah, property management's the most recent one. It's really exciting. It's a really cool thing you're doing. So yeah, we want to talk about fasting today, and I'm excited to hear about fasting because it's one of the things that's made the biggest, along your path with health, you hit plateaus, and fasting is one of those things that I always come back to break any plateau I find. If I'm just like a little puffier than I normally am, I start intermittent fasting. If my stomach's not working right, or if I'm sick, I just fast until I'm done. I fast until I'm better. So let's talk about this, man. What do you got for us?
Yeah, today? Absolutely. I mean, you're exactly right. Fasting it's literally the oldest fat loss protocol in history. Mm-hmm. Ever since the beginning of time, our oldest ancestors, they didn't always have food on hand. They'd eat, they'd hunt, they'd gather, and then they'd have to fast until they hunted and gathered again. Yeah. And, so our bodies are designed for it. And it actually makes us a lot healthier when we do fast. It's not something that's crazy and new and woo-woo, like all these, there's some crazy diets out here.
Hey, you're talking to Mr. Woo-woo now. I never thought I would be. I like to bring the science.
Call me woo-woo too, but
yeah, that's a good point. I think we both have a good grasp of woo-woo, but not only when there's science behind it. We have so much woo-woo that we've backed with science that we just now have an easier time believing more of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And safe experimenting is one of my favorite things to do. Absolutely love it. When it comes to just overall health and fitness and fat loss and longevity, I think it's one of the coolest things. And I think that's, we have a ton in common, and that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah. And people, you can't really see, but Chad's jacked. If he would like jump up on a chair and show us his thighs, yeah, he's a big boy. He's not. How about these?
I just hit my goal the other day, Mike. By the way, guys, I just got married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My goal was to get to 7% body fat by my wedding day. And I did the most, I guess, trustworthy caliper test right before my marriage, and it said I was 5.15% at 210 pounds. So
wow,
take it.
210. You're not that much taller than me, so that's a lot of muscle, man.
Yeah, that's attributed to football and lifting ever since I was in 8th grade. My dad was a power lifter, and he kind of got me started young.
Yeah, and some genetics do factor in on that. Because I have all the same background as you. And I am not, I was 220 when I was fat, and you have about 2 inches on me, I think. I'm 160, like a little under 160 now, but I'm not trying to bulk. I'm just lean, and I feel good, but I wouldn't mind being like a $180, $190 muscle. That would be nice.
Hey, anything's possible.
It is. So, but yeah, we derailed you from the fasting. Something you probably, let's jump right into this right now. Clearly fasting does not make you waste muscle.
No, it definitely doesn't. And that's one of the biggest questions that I got when I was selling my keto and intermittent fasting course is, am I going to lose muscle? And the answer is no, to a point. So if you fast for way too long, then yes, you're going to have some muscle wasting effect, because your body needs amino acids, and where is it going to get them? From the muscle cells. But in the short term, which I'm talking like 24 to 48 hours, even all the way up to 48 hours, your body is going to spare your muscle, mainly because of hormones. That would be, think about it, if that would be horrible for, in an evolutionary perspective, if we, anytime we were fasting, we would lose muscle and stuff like that. How's that going to help us hunt and gather animals and, defend ourselves against people or anything?
And you've heard me say this before: if blank was so bad for us, how do we survive as a human species? So if red meat was so bad for us, how do we survive? If fasting was impossible, how did we survive as a human species when there was drought, famine, and we didn't eat for weeks, let alone a couple of days? So
and that's exactly it. And I guess a little science behind it is, when you are fasted, even after like 18 hours, your growth hormone goes up 200%, which is one of the biggest reasons why you maintain muscle. Your hormones act in a smart, efficient way to save the most effective tissues and to destroy the most ineffective tissues.
Yeah, that's right. And our hormones, most everything in our body, there's pulses and cycles. We always think in terms of, no, I have to have my testosterone through the roof 100% of the day, all the time. It's going to pulse and cycle. You work out really hard afterwards. As soon as you eat, your testosterone plummets. That's okay. Yeah. It happens. But so we actually jumped ahead of where we should have. Who is fasting good for? Because when you were saying, it's muscle sparing, all these things. Now, if I have somebody that's already at weight or underweight, should they fast at all?
Yes, absolutely. It depends what your goals are. I mean, if your goals are longevity, which should be a goal for everybody, if you want to live a long life, fasting is the number one thing that you can do. Your body needs a break from food. Your digestive system needs a break. There's major gut healing effects from fasting, restores your gut lining. And
that doesn't take long. That's like 36 hours to completely restore, or is it less than that, to completely restore your gut lining, huh?
Yeah, I think you're about right. I know after 24 hours, there's the huge effects start.
We are so perfectly made, right?
I know, it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we are perfectly made. Our bodies know exactly what to do, and it's really, really cool once you start studying and figuring out the science behind why all of it happens.
And so I totally agree. Fasting is for everybody, but there's different types. So, there's so many names for fasting. Let me bring this up. And as I do, like in the office, if I have somebody that's 200, 300 pounds, we'll say 300 pounds, man, you could skip meals for days on end. You could skip food for days on end. If you're somebody that's very lean, fasting can actually be a stressor for the body. So what I recommend is time restricted eating. Which is, we have all these names, but time restricted eating is just a really cool one that means stop eating at 6 p.m., start eating again at 8 a.m. And, it's 12-hour fasting is still fasting. So
exactly. The thing, you don't want to confuse fasting with being in a calorie deficit, because they don't have to mean the same thing. Now, obviously, one of the biggest benefits, especially if you're overweight and you want to lose weight, is that it's very easy to be in a calorie deficit if you're fasting. And that's one of the biggest. That's why when I lost 35 pounds in 45 days, which happened last year, which was my start to all of this and really digging into everything. I would do 18 to 20 hour fasts every other day. I would do every other day fasting protocol, which I had the fat to burn. And it worked, and it was healthy. It wasn't unhealthy. I was still eating every other day up to maintenance. But back to the point is that you can have a restricted eating window, say maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours, if you're doing a 20-hour fast, and you still get all of the calories that you need to stay at maintenance to not lose weight.
Yeah.
Still extremely healthy for you. You're going to put on way less fat that way, even if you're in a calorie surplus. So if somebody's bulking for muscle, I still recommend intermittent fasting and having a time restricted eating window.
Yeah, certainly.
You're taking advantage of the hormones, and you're still in a calorie surplus where you're still able to build muscle. So,
yeah. And one huge reason that helps with people trying to lean out but keep muscle or even bulk is fasting helps keep you from getting puffy, right? If you're eating all the time, you end up being inflamed because your body never gets a break. It increases cortisol, all these things. You stop being as puffy, which is a really interesting thing. But yeah, like some of the names of fast that people have heard that if you have any questions, guys, throw them in our comments. We'll get to them. I'm going to throw out these names, and I'm going to let Chad hit his bullet points because I know he's a planner, and I'm derailing him every chance I get. So.
Oh no, I love it. I'm hitting them.
So intermittent, we've already said that. Multiple day fast, every other day. There's something called OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, which actually has its roots in the warrior diet, which is a really cool thing. Our friend, my friend Theo, that was on the other day, he's done the warrior diet since I think like 15 or so years. He's eaten 1 meal a day for that long. That's amazing. Bulletproof fasting is something kind of the Dave Asprey using fat coffee and bulletproof coffee to help get you started on fasting. And man, honest to goodness, if you struggle with fasting, intermittent fasting using bulletproof coffee is a terrific way to get into it. So, and then just time restricted eating, which is just essentially stop after dinner, start at breakfast. And that's a guy named Sachin Panda has done a lot of research in that. And that alone, having a 12-hour window, reduces all-cause mortality. Everything that could kill you, it's reduced by 20%. It's so amazing.
That's the healthiest thing you can do. And that's what I was going to say, how long, one of the things is people always ask, how long should I fast? Like, am I fasting now? Am I fasting every day? Well, here's the thing. After 12 hours is when the good effects start to happen. And that's not a very long time. If you stop eating
for 8 of it,
8 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning is 12 hours. You can do that. And you possibly do that maybe a couple days a week already. Yeah. The thing is, if a 12-hour fast is something that is safe to do every single day. Mm-hmm. You're not going to slow your metabolism whatsoever. That's a myth. Yeah. You can do that every single day. So what I do is I do a 12-hour fast, at least a 12-hour fast every day. And normally it's closer to 16. I would say like 13 or 14-hour fast every day. And then I will sprinkle in some 20-hour fasts here for, the hormone benefits, the fat loss, because the true fat loss effects really start after 16 hours. And that's when your body is really tapping into your fat storages.
Now you're talking for men, right? Because
for men,
yeah. So women, and I never used to believe this, that women and men were any different. but women can start.
I'm sure you found that out.
Yeah, I am a married man now. You think I'd know better? So, some women as early as 10 hours, but usually 12 to 14 hours is a good intermittent fast for women. And you don't need more than that. It just causes more stress for a lot of you.
It's true. Yeah. The hormones are obviously different between men and women, and there's definitely different protocols when it comes to that. So make sure if you're a woman, you're not fasting for too long because you don't want to stress the body in different ways. 12 hours is good. I would say don't go past 14. There's no need.
Yeah.
And you're still going to get great effects. The fat loss effects can even start a little bit earlier for women. Yeah. So that's a really cool thing.
For sure. You ready to take a question from someone?
Sure thing.
Awesome. Elise, a good friend of mine from high school. We grew up together. Is it good to work out during fasting?
Absolutely.
I love a fasted workout. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about this?
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of different theories, I guess, when it comes to working out and fasting and what types of workouts to do in the time period of the fast. So there's tons of different variations, but I'll kind of give you a quick example of what I did for the maximum fat burning effect. So I normally will start my fast, I would say probably 8 o'clock at night. So then I wake up in the morning, and what I do in the morning is do some light cardio, because that's one of the best fat burning workouts that you can do in the morning in a fasted state.
And what would light cardio be for you?
Normally it's a walk in the sunshine at a good pace.
Right? Isn't that amazing? Like, and so we're talking to somebody who can change his body weight 35 pounds in 45 days. And he's telling you to take a walk in the sunshine. If you can be barefoot, you got A+ for me, guys. So
yeah, that's very true. That's getting into the woo-woo stuff, which we love.
But it's all science, man. It's all science. I'm standing on a grounding mat right now.
Exactly. And you know what? It's okay to do a hard lift as well.
Yeah.
If you want to lift weights, you're not going to waste away muscle.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things. People think, oh, when I'm lifting, my muscles need protein before and after. I'm going to lose muscle if I do this, and that's not the case. That's not.
How did we survive as a muscular human species if we had to have pre-workout supplements, post-workout supplements?
Exactly.
We're pretty in tune.
Working out in a deep fasted state, like anywhere from 12 to all the way up to, I would say 18 to 20 hours, is great. You're not going to lose any muscle. Your body's increases its hormones, especially growth hormone, to keep that muscle on there while you're working out.
Yeah.
The fat burning is extremely increased, and they've proven that your muscle protein synthesis is increased for up to 24 hours after that period of when you work out. So you don't need to eat 30 minutes right after you work out. It's actually better to wait a little bit. You're still going to gain muscle if you want to, if you have a positive nitrogen balance and you're eating enough protein.
Yeah. You have a little bit of a higher, your testosterone and stuff stays peaked for a little longer, for a couple hours if you wait to eat afterwards. And again, I look at it this way. If I had to chase an animal through the woods to kill it, I wouldn't have eaten it right there.
Yeah.
I would have had that animal on my back, carried it home for 2 hours, and then I would have eaten it after butchering it, right? Exactly. I'd have been darn hungry by that point. But so everybody knows, like, once you're used to fasting, I've deadlifted for sets of 10, over 400 pounds on I believe it was a 4-day fast.
Wow.
So I was fully fasted, just down to water and salt. So that's a long fast, and over 400 pounds. So it's very doable, very doable. But that's not something I recommend to people. That is just something that I felt good that day. Yeah. Sometimes you might feel a little weak, but usually you feel strong enough to do some good weights, not heavy weights. But yeah, the walking, man. When I was prepping for Dr. Pete and I were going out to do some mountain climbing, I would walk fasted almost every morning with 30 pounds in a book bag. So
that's amazing.
And my fat just fell off me. Dropped off me. And I hate walking. It's so boring to me because I don't have sidewalks. I can't walk my dog anywhere. I'm in the country, so landlocked on my property. But yeah, Elise, great question there. Great question. Yeah. At least let us know if you need more nuance on that question there.
Yeah. You know what? I can add one more thing too.
Yeah.
You feel a lot better working out in a fasted state. You don't feel like you have a big ball in your stomach when you're working out, and you just slugged a protein shake before you're trying to do a workout.
Yeah.
Your epinephrine, norepinephrine, all your adrenaline is way up when you're in a fasted state like this, because your body is trying to survive. So you normally have a lot better quality of a workout if you're in a fasted state, even if it's for 4 hours.
Yeah, and she made a good comment here, like water and salt. Yeah, so I actually, if I'm fasted, I'm drinking salt water all the time. And the way I do salt water is I have a 16-ounce glass. I will take a 1/4 teaspoon of Celtic sea salt or Redmond real salt. Those are my two favorites for a lot of reasons. I'm actually veering away from the pink Himalayan big time. So I will put a 1/4 teaspoon in the water, let it mix up. And I usually do like lukewarm water just so it actually mixes. And then I take a sip. If I barely taste the salt, I add more. Take a sip, add more. I keep doing that until it's like, if I get to where it's gross, I throw it out. But Yeah. And that helps tremendously. If you try working out without salt water, you're going to have some trouble. You can even throw a pinch of salt in your coffee. But
my little concoction before I work out is in a fasted state is similar. So right now I have pink Himalayan salt on hand, and I also use the sea salt. But what I do is I make sure I try to even out the sodium potassium pump in the body, and I'll also add a quarter of a tablespoon of cream of tartar.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, I add cream of tartar in there along with the salt because cream of tartar is pure potassium.
Yeah.
Really cool. And it makes you feel amazing. It really balances out the electrolytes that you need.
And I've used low salt before, but I eat so much beef now. Beef has plenty of potassium. So
by the way, that doesn't break a fast. That drink does not break a fast. So that you can have certain things on a fast that are going to enhance the fast, and your workouts, but not cause the hormonal effects of actually breaking a fast.
Yeah. And I will say for women, a lot of times, if you don't feel good working out fasted, don't. If you don't feel good working out fasted, maybe have a little bit of collagen ahead of time, or have just like a tiny bit of carbs. I mean, that could be a spoon of honey, or it could be just a little, like a fried egg or something like that, hard-boiled egg. Some people just can't do this fasted, so they need a little something in their stomach, not something that makes them sick. So, and Elise said, do you drink infused water? I'm pretty plain Jane. I do like infused water, but most of the time I just drink plain. But I can't imagine an infused water breaking a fast because it's usually more the calories that will break a fast fully, because there's kind of different levels of a fast being broken. So,
yeah, and that's another question that you get all the time. What can I have on a fast? What can I drink on a fast? And it really depends. Is what you're drinking going to enhance the fast?
Yeah, like coffee.
Coffee, example.
Coffee enhances the fast. So plain black coffee.
15-ish calories in a cup of coffee.
And it burns more calories, increases your ketones.
Increases your ketones, increases your epinephrine, norepinephrine, which is what you're going for in a fast. Increasing cortisol.
Yeah.
That can be a good thing in a fast because you're trying to burn fat. Cortisol destroys, it's catabolic. It takes away from tissue, and that's what you want in a fast. So, no, coffee.
Isn't that so backwards to say?
It is.
You want more cortisol? Yeah, it's
do.
a pulse. Everything is a pulse and a cycle. Yeah. We need these things to push and pull. So
exactly. Yeah. So back to the calories breaking a fast. There's people out there that are extremely strict, and the only thing they'll have on a fast is water. Mm-hmm. That's okay, but at the same time, if your goal is fat loss, which for a lot of people who are fasting, that is the goal. And if your goal is longevity, it's okay to have certain things that say they have a couple calories, but they're going to enhance the fast.
Yeah.
For example, coffee, apple cider vinegar, another great thing to have on a fast that increases fat loss. Even a couple drops of squeezed lemon into your water can really, really increase the effects of a fast. It might have a couple calories, but guess what? You're going to burn through that in a couple minutes, maybe, because your body's already, you're going to be back in that fasted state. You're not going to spike your insulin. It's not going to kick you out of fast for a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe a couple minutes. Those are just a couple things that I drank on a fast that really help.
Yeah. And a friend of ours, Copter Bob, he's also in our referral group. Terrific guy. I fast about 2 hours a day just to keep the edge. If only you guys.
Copter Bob.
Your dad went to elementary school with him, huh?
They did.
When he describes Copter Bob as a kid, I feel like, you remember Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah.
I feel like his taller buddy that was like the real skinny kid. I feel like that's who Copter Bob was as a kid, which I love that about him. I gotta find that now. So that's terrific. And just to get a little bit, not that we didn't get in the weeds at all yet, right? So to get a little bit further into the weeds, A lot of people worry that like spiking mTOR, which is, I've talked about this before with people, it's mammalian. It's essentially, people are scared that mTOR is one of those things. If you spike mTOR too much, it's something that's spiked when you eat. When you eat meat and protein and you work out, all these things. When you spike mTOR, they think it's going to it's going to shorten your lifespan. But the key is
chronically.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, right. The key is pulsing. So you want that spike in mTOR to build muscle, to burn fat, and a couple other things. So if you are fasted, the best, you suppress mTOR, and when you let the mTOR go, the more it's suppressed, the higher it bounces. So, so doing having coffee in the morning helps suppress mTOR, or right before a workout, salt in your coffee is great for that. Having a workout, doing this all fasted, those three things suppress your mTOR. If you wait like an hour or so after you work out, you have like a nice little peak, and then you eat. Boom. When you eat, it drops everything. It's a perfect pulse flow and push and pull. And it's just terrific how that works. So
strategically spike my mTOR, because mTOR is the main muscle building pathway. It's the main anabolic pathway, building muscle. And you got to be careful, because if your mTOR is constantly spiked, you're going to put on fat as well. So it's the timing of it is how to do it.
And the beautiful thing about it is, if you just don't eat a ton of carbs, and if you restrict your eating, you don't have to worry anything about what we're talking about.
No.
The whole mTOR stuff is so above most people for good reason. It's not necessary to know. Your body works perfectly if you just eat real foods. So, like, do some intermittent fasting. It doesn't have to be every day. When you fast, go for a walk, have some coffee if you like it. And then after you work out, try to wait like a half hour to an hour if you want. You don't have to. I don't like eating right after a workout. I don't feel good eating right after. And then so you're spiked, that mTOR is spiked, and you're building muscle, you're doing all these things, and then boom, it pulls down as soon as you eat. But if you eat carbs, if you eat like a lot of carbs, a standard American diet, that spikes your mTOR for upwards of like 5 or 6 hours at a time. Every time. If you eat nothing but protein, like I do most of the time, a carnivore approach, I'm spiking my mTOR for about an hour every time I eat. So I have 2 hours a day I'm spiked, not 20.
Exactly. And if you're bulking, I guess going to breaking your fast, because I'm sure that's a good question that a lot of people are going to ask when they see this video is how should I break my fast? The last thing you want to do is go have one huge, massive 2,000 calorie meal right when you break your fast. In my
opinion, I don't know.
It's my opinion.
Because a guy like me, I'm only eating 1 or 2 meals a day. I have to.
That's what the OMAD approach is. The 1 meal a day. And I personally don't like the OMAD approach. So
I don't either. I do it on occasion, but this is where nuance comes in, right? This is where it's like we are special snowflakes. But I disagree that we're special snowflakes right until the nuance happens. So, but this is a perfect.
Even if you disagree, it's all love. But here's my reasoning behind it. So your insulin sensitivity is one of the biggest things when it comes to fasting. That's one of the biggest benefits. You want to be very insulin sensitive. If you're not insulin sensitive, you're diabetic, and that's not good. You don't want that. So fasting increases insulin sensitivity. And once you get to that point, that 18, 16, 20-hour window, somewhere in there, you're very insulin sensitive, especially if you just work out at the end of your fast. You're in a fasted state for that long of a time. You're extremely insulin sensitive. So your body, insulin acts as, it opens up your cells so that they can receive nutrients and all the different things that the cell needs. So my theory behind it, and theories of people that I've studied, is that if you eat a bunch of fats, a bunch of carbs, a bunch of protein all at once, when you break your fast, it's going to shuttle everything into the cells, especially fat. If you eat a lot of fat and a lot of carbs together when you break your fast, it would be a dangerous thing because your body's going to use those carbs. It's going to spike your insulin even more with the carbs and then shuttle the fat that you're eating into fat cells. And you could have sort of negated the fat loss effects that you would have gotten.
Yeah.
So when I break a fast, I'm very careful. This is what I follow. You can let me know if you do something different, but here's what I do. I call it the 20-20. So I have around 20 grams of protein, and either 20 grams of protein and 20 grams of fat, or 20 grams of protein and 20 grams of carbs. I never mix fats and carbs within 1 hour of breaking my fast.
Yeah.
I always want to wait so that my insulin can level out. And then if I'm going to have fats and carbs, I sometimes we'll do that together.
Are you talking just like an everyday intermittent fast, or are you talking long fast?
Well, yeah. So any fast over 16 hours, that's how I break it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, if it's a long fast, I do think you should break it slowly, like cup of bone broth or just like a little beef jerky stick or two, something small like that, to get the digestion starting. But man, when I broke my 5.5 day fast the one time with a giant ribeye from Whole Foods, and like first, the crazy thing is the first probably 1/3 or half of that steak, it didn't taste like anything to me. I was like so disappointed, and all of a sudden I took this next bite, and it was like God entered me. I was like, this is incredible. But yeah, that was a great question because Elise just asked, when you do break the fast, you obviously don't want to have crap food, right? So
very true. Because the body, once again, your insulin is spiked extremely high when you break your fast. So your body's going to absorb everything that you're eating, which is all the more reason to eat something extremely healthy and nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, then your body's pretty much shuttling crap where crap shouldn't go.
And let's be honest, there is nothing more nutrient dense on this planet than animal protein. Nothing. Red meat is one of the best things for us. So for me, I used to track every single little thing I did. I was neurotic, and this was for years and years. So if I ever give you pushback when you're giving me numbers on carbs and stuff, it's only because my life is tremendously different right now, all because of the last year of going carnivore and healing doing a lot of healing. Just yesterday, or just over the last 3 days, something's changed in my gut. I was able to reintroduce eggs, and I was able to have chocolate, and I didn't get sick from it. And I'm just like, this is amazing. So
tracking and measuring can be, I think it's important if you, at the beginning of somebody's journey, I still like to track and measure a lot of things. Just when I have certain goals I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
Right now I'm trying to put on at least like 5 more pounds of muscle. So I'm very granular with my tracking of my proteins and my calories, all while maintaining 7% body fat. So I got to be very careful with what I'm doing if I'm going to reach my goal. Yeah. But I get it. Once you do this for a while, you have the understanding of, I sort of know how many calories is in this, and I know if I'm eating way more than I should be, based off of what you did before.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys, if you're doing the same thing every single day and you're not reaching your goals, then sometimes that same thing every day shifts just a touch, or there's something happening in there that you're not aware of, whether it's a food intolerance. Like for me, I was gaining weight and I was eating eggs and steak. So I cut the eggs out. I had a food intolerance to eggs. So like that sucks, right? But immediately I dropped 3 or 4 pounds. I'm not a big guy. I went from like 162 to 157 in 3 days by cutting eggs because I had a super mild intolerance. I could just tell something was off with my gut, but it didn't seem like anything spectacular until I cut it. And I was like, I felt like I was floating. So if you want to get in tune with your body, you do have to go super extreme for a couple weeks, reset the whole body. And Copter Bob. So Copter Bob also makes jerky. He's another serial entrepreneur, serial hobbyist. I love the hobbies this guy has. So he makes jerky. So now he's Jerky Bob, Copter Bob, Computer Bob. So he's just. I'm gonna start I can't remember Jimmy Neutron's friend. I'm gonna start calling him.
Yeah, so, Sheen or Carl, one of the
Sheen. Sheen.
That's good.
This is terrific. So, Elise, I am so grateful for all the questions you had today. This was awesome. We just like reconnected last night, Elise and I. And she goes, I didn't realize you were doing all this stuff. What the heck, Mike? And so it's good to see her on here this morning.
Mike, your audience are pretty big in the keto as well, correct?
All kind of stuff. People just are looking to eat healthy. But yeah, mostly I'm a big believer that low carb is a much better alternative. But now that I am Kite Bob on Sundays, he flies kites too, like legit, like battle kites. Sorry, I just went off the rails because of Bob. So I'm a big believer that keep it low carb and don't eat sugar, period. And for me, for years and years and years, like 8 years, that meant no honey. Well, guess what my body handles now that I am mostly carnivore is I can handle honey pretty darn well. I don't gain weight from it. I don't get puffy anymore. It took a lot of dedication.
Out of ketosis if you're in it because 1 tablespoon is about 17 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Depending on your weight, you can definitely still be in ketosis.
Certainly. But I don't worry about ketosis the same way I used to either. I know that I'm in it most of the time. You skip a meal, if your body is metabolically flexible. Yep. You skip one meal and you're in ketosis again. If you're generally lower carb.
You know what? Let's touch on the fat adaption thing because this video is about fasting. Fasting is the best way to get fat adapted because when you're fasted, your body has nothing else to break down. There's no carbs coming in. Your glucose stores in your muscles and in your liver are they get sort of depleted. Your body cannot continue to run off of that. So it has to learn how to convert your body fat into energy, which is becoming fat adapted. And once your mitochondria, once your cells are fat adapted, you are set. I mean, you're really, because that doesn't go away. Your body stays fat adapted. And guess what that does? It makes you metabolically flexible.
Yep.
So it allows you to get into ketosis so much faster. And obviously, even if you don't want to eat a keto diet, if you're fasted for normally over 16 to 18 hours, you're getting into ketosis, whether you like it or not. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing, even to be in it for short bouts of time.
Yeah.
If you do a carb cycling diet or something like that, along with intermittent fasting, you're in ketosis. So that's a really cool thing, is becoming fat adapted and getting your body to be metabolically flexible to be able to run on different types of fuel sources, which is really cool.
And it's crazy. It's like you can break that flexibility, right? So like if you go back to a standard American diet,
after a while,
you'll break your metabolic flexibility. It takes some time though. It's going to take you like a month of eating as horribly as you can to really crush yourself back into that. But man, once you get there, you're so right. Mark Sisson calls it the keto zone. He's like, you don't have to be in ketosis all the time. So the other night, Kim just goes, man, I'm craving a sweet potato. I haven't had veggies for a long time. I'll randomly have like a little bit of squash or a little bit of sweet potato. That's about it. Because the green stuff doesn't agree with me. Man, we baked up sweet potatoes and I had no fat yesterday because I'm a big believer that you don't have fat and carbs together all that much. If you do, you keep it to a lower amount.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Ted Naiman says, whatever your goal weight is, keep your fat and carbs below that. Keep your protein above that. Simplistic genius. So
true.
I had a sweet potato with honey all over it and sea salt. It was like the best tasting thing in the world.
I could try that. I've never done that.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't believe it. And I've done that with like nut butters and stuff in the past, like chopped it up and fried up sweet potatoes with a little bit of nut butter. It's terrific. So, but yeah, so you can do the carbs sometime, but that's a sometimes food. And let's be honest, like sweet potatoes are not bad for us. It's the amount of sweet potatoes along with the chocolate and the candy bars and this and that. That's what's bad for us. if you're eating candy every day, you're not eating a human diet. If you're eating sweet potatoes every single day, we wouldn't have had that ever in history. So, I just think of things from a historical perspective. Is it in season? Then I can eat it. Is it not? So Lori, she's always the best. She's saying hello to us. She's also in our group. Look at the support you get. So this is a networking group we're in, and everybody just supports each other so well. So, so something you said earlier, Chad, and I'm going to totally twist your words around, and I think you'll like it. So
go for it.
You said that fasting helps if for those of us who are not insulin sensitive, can create an insulin sensitivity for us. So are you saying that fasting can cure type 2 diabetes? Are you a doctor? Are you allowed to say this?
I'm not allowed to say this, and I will not say anything can cure anything.
Yeah.
But if anything could, it might.
So,
and it can definitely prevent it from happening.
Yes.
So if you have it, I'm not going to say that it will cure it. But if you're young, or even if you're not young, it doesn't matter how old you are, and you're on pace to be diabetic.
Yeah.
Start increasing your insulin sensitivity by using intermittent fasting. It's one of the easiest things that you can do to get your body metabolically flexible, and also to really, really help you out in that.
And so people that can say, I'm not saying this, you're not saying this, but a couple people who can say that diabetes can be cured by a ketogenic diet or fasting, Virta Health I think they're out of they're California and Colorado are their two bases. Virta Health has thousands of patients who have reversed their type 2 diabetes, and a couple, maybe like 10, that reversed type 1 diabetes when they found it fast enough. Whoa. Are you kidding?
Yeah. I mean, the health benefits of fasting when it comes to not only diabetes, but I've heard some amazing stories of people who have had cancerous tumors, gone on long fasting protocols. Well, guess what? A tumor is not tissue in your body that your body needs.
Yeah.
It's something that it needs. And when you fast, you increase autophagy, which is your body's recycling of cells that aren't needed. And that's why you burn a lot of fat, because you don't need a lot of body fat to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So these people went on longer term fasts. Like they would fast for 48 to 72 hours, even more at a time. And then make sure they eat ketogenic style whenever they do break that fast.
Yeah.
And what happened was the autophagy attacked the cancerous tumors.
Yeah.
Which is, it's incredible.
So Dr. Jason Fung, so Virta Health is like all about ketosis, which generally involves fasting a little bit. Dr. Jason Fung literally has treated thousands of patients using just fasting, not even dietary changes. He has fasted people over 300, and I think the longest he did was like 370 days or something. And with just water and supplementation. And that guy that he did that with, because fasting and autophagy did not need any skin removal after like a 250-pound weight loss, because your body eats the extra proteins. I have stretch marks. These people don't have stretch marks. They don't have extra skin.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, with rapid fat loss, one of the biggest things is people will have extra flabby skin. And it's like, what do I do with all this stuff? Like people used to people with liposuction, they have those big flaps of skin, and it's very unsightly, and they try to get rid of it. The best way to get rid of it is a long-term fast for autophagy, because your body realizes it doesn't need all that skin.
Yeah.
It will literally take it away.
I can't remember who said it, but fasting is God's scalpel. It is. I mean, it is a bladeless scalpel. So I have I get cold sores, which means I have herpes simplex 1 or 2. I don't remember which one it is. It's whichever one happens in other places than down there. But when I used to get cold sores all over my mouth, inside my nose. When I have fasted for anywhere from 3 to 5 days. I've never gone over 5 yet, just because of life gets in the way. But when I do that, the back of my throat, I start getting almost like ulcers that stick around on the back of my tongue, back of my throat. And I have a feeling it's the body trying to push out this virus. And unfortunately, I just never got to take it far enough because, like I said, you go 5-6 days, you're going to run into a social event.
Yeah. So it's also very, after a while, you do the high feeling that you get from fasting, like the ketone high, that it starts to go away. Sometimes you get lethargic. Then you'll get a burst of energy again. And then the longest I've ever fasted was 80 hours. Yeah. And that was enough for me. Yeah.
And let's put it out there right now. If anybody ever wants to do a fasting challenge, I'm down. And not challenge like, oh, let's see who can do it longer, but just support each other. I'm all about that because that's why I'm doing these interviews. I want to help people. So, is there anything we missed today, Chad? Because I know you and we've done this before. We can talk for hours.
You know what? I really don't think. I think we honestly hit just about everything.
Yeah, we're super good at this, man.
But any questions you guys have, feel free to ask us. We'd be more than happy.
Incredible resource to get is Jason Fung's book. It's Jason Fung and Jimmy Moore, The Complete Guide to Fasting. Complete Guide to Fasting. That's it. It has a lot of the superstars that we know of in our industry. I can't remember if Thomas DeLauer's in there or not. But man,
I'm not sure. Yeah, but Thomas DeLauer, he's definitely one of my favorite resources.
Yeah,
he's a guy that's truly in the science.
Absolute stud, chock full of information. The guy used to be 280 pounds. He is now a cover model. And like he's got the stretch marks and stuff, but terrific guy. I'm assuming, and this doesn't make a man, but it does in my book. I'm assuming he's a Christian guy because you can't just be so vibrant the way he is. There's vibrance. I've seen atheists that are vibrant. He is filled with something, right? I just can't think that he's not a Christian guy. He's just such a terrific guy.
Yeah, his content's great. I have his channel actually linked to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So, you can definitely click and go watch a lot of his videos and stuff.
Yeah.
From there.
And genius too. He's like a supplement formulator as well. And like really knows his stuff on supplements. He's just a cool guy. But Chad, let me share your YouTube channel right here. So this is really cool. Did you throw these up just for here, or is this you have several?
Yeah, actually, these videos were part of a keto and intermittent fasting course that I created a little while back and actually sold, and it was part of a private membership that you had to purchase and be a part of. But I realized that there's so many people who are needing this information right now, especially with everyone being stuck at home.
Yeah,
some people are gaining some weight, which they wouldn't have otherwise. So yeah, I put all these videos out here as a free resource where people can go and watch and go through the course. The one course that I have up there, if you go to the playlists, is Rapid Keto Adaption. It's my Rapid Keto Adaption playlist. And it teaches you how to get into ketosis fast if you want to. If that's something that you want to do and want to try out, normally it takes people a little bit longer to get fat adapted if they don't do it the right way. This teaches you how to do it, pretty quickly compared to the other ways. Then also I have the Fire Fat Fast Intermittent Fasting course, which is the other playlist there. So people who watch this video, when it comes to fasting, it gives kind of exactly like what I do when it comes to the fasting protocols and when how long, what to break it, a little bit more specifics on something that they can actually follow and implement.
Yeah. And guys, like this is, if you like to get an understanding of things at a real deep level and know how to, anytime you want to reset yourself, he's got the details here for it. I mean, look at the stuff on this. He's got the mistakes. He's got just a video for everything here. And this is, I'm really jealous of this. I can't get concise enough information to come out of my mouth to do stuff like this. So it's terrific
quality, but you know what? It gets the job done. And you'll definitely be able to benefit a lot, even if you don't want to do keto, or intermittent fasting. You can recommend this to somebody else who needs it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. This is great. And then you have links to guys like Thomas DeLauer. Thomas DeLauer is just incredible. Look at that belly. That always cracks me up when I see that. But this is why Chad follows this guy, because look at him. He is jacked, man. And Chad's not far from that. And all the guys you got linked over here on the future channels, they're all great. Ben Greenfield's one of my favorite. So
yeah, Ben Greenfield's great. Jeff Nippert, he's another real science-based. I tend to follow the science-based guys that really focus on that aspect of things to see why things work.
Yeah. You showed me Jeff Nippert before, I think. Okay.
Yeah. He's really cool. He doesn't exactly follow keto, but it's good to have diversity there because the guy's so jacked, and it just shows you that different things can work.
Yeah. And if you feel like having a textbook of health that you don't have to ask any other question the rest of your life, this guy, right? We both have this.
Absolutely.
So I was telling you the other day, I use this to prop my keyboard up so my hands are the right angle so I don't hurt my wrist when I'm typing. Because I'm at a standing desk. So it's right there all the time, but that's what
So I have a standing desk as well. And I would recommend, if you're working from home, if you don't have a standing desk, stand up every 10 minutes because it's going to be extremely beneficial for your health.
Set an alarm, do body weight squats. But Chad, this was terrific, man.
It was great.
I know you have some other specialties, some other things you're really terrific at, and I'd love to have you back on in the future. Or if you ever have anything that you just want to talk to people about and get in front of my audience about, it's all the same people we see every Tuesday morning. So
yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to share this and get this content out there.
Definitely. And hang on, I'm going to close out the broadcast here, but I really appreciate you coming on, Chad. And I appreciate your friendship as well. I really do. So,
absolutely, Mike. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Guys, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. Elise, Copter Bob, Lori, thanks so much, guys. We love you guys. So have a great day.
See you, everybody.